So you want to be a savage. You've been to Rikers Island, you've been to prison, or you feel like you're going to go to Rikers Island or prison. You want to learn how to be a boss, how to be a savage, how to turn up. You want to know how to demand attention. I'm going to tell you how to do it, man. Before I get started, go ahead, subscribe, hit that bell for the notifications so this video can reach the people it need to reach, man. Because I ain't been getting enough views for these Rikers Island stories, and I will in all of it. I just do interviews, man. Get on my Oprah shit, you feel me? How do you become a savage on Rikers Island or prison? The things that I say in different ways, different versions of doing these type of things that I say based off of what I know and what I've seen based off of my time on Rikers Island and prison. A different version of doing this wherever you're at, no matter what state you in America. Because, you know, when you get to these third world countries and all of that, where it's way more treacherous, way more dangerous, probably nothing I'm saying applies. It's probably based on family and cartels outside of America. But if you do these things that I'm saying right now, you will become a savage and you will become a boss in Rikers Island or anywhere else. Now, like I said, this is based off of things that I know and things that I've seen, okay, and things that I've experienced. There's different ways to approach becoming a boss or becoming a savage in Rikers Island. There's different approaches. I would like to break it down into probably two different categories, all right? There's the hard approach and there's the soft approach. I'm going to talk about the soft approach first. You come into Rikers Island or you go into prison. Let's say you're coming in and you're neutral. Nobody really knows you, but you want to gain a tremendous amount of respect in a very short period of time. What you do is you would join the gang. That's what most dudes would do, right? Because they want to have a safety net. They're going to join the gang. They're going to be a part of whatever initiation that's going to require them to be a part of a gang. And then you already get some type of clout after you go through your initiation. So then from that point on, you just make yourself available to put in work. A lot of it is being someone who takes initiative and not someone who gets told when to put in work, because then you look like a doja. If you are scaling the landscape, any opportunity you see to assert yourself and show your dominance and make your set look good, you just start taking advantage of the situation. And then you start as someone who is known to become violent at a moment's notice without having to be told to, one who never looks shaky. You can go that route. And then over time, you get to a point where, like for instance, in Rikers Island, you can either take the crib by challenging somebody for the crib, challenging somebody for their high ranking of the mod, the pod, the crib, if you will. And you can win and you can take over like that. Or like I said, since this is a soft approach, you just put in a lot of work and you become heavily favored by the person who runs it. And then when it's time for them to either they get moved for whatever reason, maybe they got caught extorting somebody or something, or maybe they got into a fight and the wrong CO was there and the CO moved them. Or maybe they going up north. When they go up north, they have to pass the crib on to whoever they feel like is the next person they feel like is suitable to run it. You know, it's a real hierarchy. It's a real mob kind of thing. It's a real, like, Game of Thrones-esque type of thing. And if you was a person who you earned your respect by that particular person and you've been putting in work for so long and y'all have a friendship, because that's what it takes, then he'll just pass it on to you and now you have become a boss. You have become a boss. You know, I would say that's more of the soft approach to becoming a boss. That doesn't necessarily mean you have become a savage. Now, if you're a savage, you're somebody who you always into something. Now, the savages, these are the people who are constantly in a box. These are the people who you see them, their hands is in the midst. Their hands is always, you know, chained up because they always cutting people, things of that nature. Half of the savages were always like original day room dummies. They wanted to be a part of a gang. They started going a little too hard. They started really getting sent on doja missions. International Pop-Off Dummy Missions. They're the people who, the guys at the top, they want somebody to get hurt, but they don't want to do it. And they like, yo, listen, you want to be down? You want to come home? Go ahead and take this scalpel and cut that good brother's face over there to the right. And then you be my drop. And they just jump out the window, and they don't know when to stop jumping out the window. And they become the savages. Those are half of the savages, half of the wildest guys. They started off in very, very, very weak, vulnerable positions, and then they decided, hey, listen, I'm going to start turning up because I don't want to be who I am now, so I'm going to be somebody else. But the thing about that is these are people who, they want to be accepted too bad, so they go overboard. They start like catching new charges for people who never gave a damn about them, not going to give a damn about them. But the ironic thing is, in the midst of all of that, their name often does become heavily respected, because after a while, the longer you stay in jail, less people know about the fact that when you first came in, you might have been getting extorted, you was Maytagging, washing people doodle stains out their drawers, getting slapped around. And after a while, a year or two pass, and you bouncing around and stuff like that, all they remember is, yo, that's the dude who cut such and such face, he turned up, this, that, and the third. And in the midst of that, you're in a gang, like your status increases based off of all the ignorance that you do. That's a way to become a savage, but you don't necessarily become a boss that way. Another way to become a savage / boss is the hard approach. And the hard approach is, you come in, nobody knows you, and you don't allow yourself to go through it. You don't allow yourself to be extorted. You don't allow yourself any space for anyone to even get you twisted at all. And the moment you pull up and you get settled into the crib, you do some of the most gangster shit ever, which is, you might walk in, everybody talking in the day room, you turn off the TV, you like, yo, listen, this shit is mine. Who won it? You probably gonna get jumped. But in the midst of getting jumped, you might knock somebody out, you putting in work. Now your name is gonna buzz around the building. They're gonna be like, yo, this new nigga, he's such and such, he just came in, he turned the TV off, he knocked out dude who ran the crib, yeah, we spanked him out, but yo, it's something about him, like he type official. And then you just continue to be reckless, abandon, total fearlessness everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, right? And you putting in so much work without trying to be down with nobody. The dudes who really have the most clout and the most power, they'll just offer you a spot. They'll just offer you a spot in the top rank somewhere, and you can decide to go with it or not go with it, join the gang or not join the gang. Mind you, 90% of dudes do join the gang. Like, it's kind of inevitable, especially in New York. Like, the Bloods is just too heavy. They snatching up 9 out of 10 dudes that's really putting in work, really making a name for themselves, And it's kind of almost like, either you do that or you're going to have a problem with us. And no matter how tough you are, we everywhere, nigga. You can't escape these fates. You can't escape this violence, you feel me? And you become a savage like that. Becoming a boss, it takes a mob mentality. It takes not a mob like you'll follow it. I'm talking about like a mobster mentality. It takes you knowing when to choose your battles. Like, it's easy to become a savage than become a boss. And a boss is somebody who, when you running things, they respect the fact that you're running things. And not everybody's going to respect it, but most people. Because not only they fear what you could do to them personally, but they fear your influence because you got so much love. Most people can become a savage, but not a boss. Because see, a savage is just you being violent. People scared what you're going to do to them. You're a wild card. You're unpredictable. But a boss is equally as unpredictable. He played chess to get where he at. He didn't overextend himself. He didn't overdo it with the violence. But when it was time to perform, he performed. He performed and he made a spectacle of it. You know what I'm saying? He shook the right hands. He got cool with the right people in the right way, not by, ass kissing, not by nut hugging. He made real bonds and real brotherhoods with the right people. He earned a tremendous amount of respect from the right people, and he's charismatic. He's charismatic and he got leadership qualities. These are the people who become bosses. Now, you could end up running a crib or something and being a boss for a short amount of time, but your reign, it's like Biggie said, your reign at the top was short like leprechauns. It's going to be short like leprechauns. The people who maintain a boss position for a long time, these are the people who, they use this. More of this, less of this, but more of this. And that's how you become a savage or a boss in Rikers Island or a prison. Peace.
Really the hottest nigga, you gon' respect this lava. I'm shooting it if I pull it, boy, make sure you want this drama. I bring it to you like it's Law and Order SVU. Turn you to a vegetable, now you look good inside a soup. Family come from Bishopville, but I grew up in that Bronx Zoo, where they shoot you dead in the street and then dance all on top of you. And I do what I gotta do.
Started. Please don't get me started.